Here is Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. Senator, you and I predicted they would do this very thing, and they have enough Republican senators, I think, who are terrible on the issue of China, and they know who they are, to go right along with this. What can you tell us tonight about this move, potential move?
Well, Laura, first off, it's so silly to blame these tariffs for inflation. These tariffs were in place almost from the beginning of the Trump administration when we did not have inflation. It's kind of like blaming inflation on so-called Putin's price hike when the price of gas was increasing well before Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine. The next thing they're going to be blaming inflation for is a lack of unicorn tears to fuel our cars around the country. But unfortunately, it's part of the pattern you see with the Biden administration continuing to try to conciliate with China, to turn the other cheek, not pursuing, for instance, the likely origins of the coronavirus in the Wuhan lab. And regrettably, there are still a lot of Republicans in Washington and around the country who think that China should be primarily a trading partner, not confronted as our #1 enemy and the gravest threat to America's prosperity, freedom, and safety in the 21st century.
Well, I think the needle on the issue of China is moving. When you look at some of the public opinion polls, even whether people will be willing to spend more money to have goods not coming in from China, the numbers are surprisingly strong because, you know, people get scared of free trade, free trade. Here's a recent poll, okay? Do you support the U.S. government using trade remedies on China? Strongly support, 40%. Somewhat support, 33%. Opposing is only 10%. So to me, this is a bipartisan issue that the Republicans can continue to grow support among minorities and others who know that Americans need American-made goods here to have American jobs and a middle class that sings with economic growth.
Laura, I agree with that. And I hear it all across Arkansas. So many Arkansans have reason to support cracking down on China, whether they're rice farmers who have had their genome stolen, whether they look at the University of Arkansas and see a professor who is charged for being a spy with China, whether they have kids in the military who are in Japan or South Korea or just on a ship in the Western Pacific, Christians who are worried about persecution of their fellow religionists throughout China, or sometimes just outright liberals who look at what's happening in places like Hong Kong or Northwest China, where China is persecuting religious and ethnic minorities. There are a lot of Arkansans who want to crack down on China. That's a message that I suspect resonates in every other state as well, and I wish more politicians in Washington listened to it.
And Senator, all these people who say that they're worried about democracy and they're worried about civil rights and a civil society, but all they want to do every step of the way is to make money for China and to make money for themselves. I don't understand. How are you pro-democracy and pro-China? It makes no sense. Senator, thank you.